I'm ready for a pilgrimage.
Our very first day of walking the Camino was a baptism of fire. I hadn't slept enough or eaten breakfast, and by the time we summited the first hill of the day at 8 a.m, I was already starting to think that this trip was a mistake, and that my body just couldn't handle it.
Hi.
How are you?
This is our first day walking. We left Sarria earlier on. We have now walked
10 kilometres,
about 10
right?
kilometres. It's hot.
It's alright. We're going to die of the heat later on though if it continues to get hotter.
Definitely.
And,
We're doing alright for now.
absolutely.
But somehow, with the help of Dad and Conor, I kept putting one foot in front of the other, hour after hour, until I reached that bridge in Porto Marine. And as we arrived in this glorious town, I learned that my body is much more powerful than my mind believes, and that maybe this wasn't such a bad idea after all. Day 2 was a bit rough for me. We started walking at the crack of dawn in dense, cold fog, with achy legs, shoulders and arms. As we stopped for lunch, the sun came out, and we started to pick up some friends. It was Leslie, Marianne and Piotrusz who literally got me through the mountains and valleys of this day. And I can honestly say I could not have done it without them.
Why does everyone keep saying the downhill was harder? I do not agree.
Un burro.
Wow, that was very aggressive.
We were all physically and mentally drained as we slowly trudged ever closer to Palas de Rey. I really needed a hot shower and a good sleep, but I couldn't believe I'd have to get up and do it all again tomorrow. Day 3 was incredibly hard.
This is the end for me.
Today I was also contending with swollen ankles, immense pain in my Achilles heels, and lumps on my shoulders from my backpack. Apart from the pain, this was also the furthest I'd ever walked in a single day. 28 kilometres over about 9 hours. Perversely, this also happened to be the day I enjoyed the most, despite the agonising pain. I finally started to make the Camino my own, walking at my own pace and listening to music and podcasts as I strolled along. I also had the best food of the trip, as we stopped off in a veggie restaurant in Melide and enjoyed an amazing veggie burger surrounded by friends.
Hands down, this place has the best hummus in the entire world.
Oh yeah. It's hummus heaven.
As we trudged into Ribadiso, exhausted and feet throbbing, there was a huge solidarity among us all for suffering through that hellish day together.
We just walked 28 kilometres into Ribadiso, and I think I'll never walk again. The longest I think I've ever walked, and now my feet feel like they're gonna fall off.
Do you want to do it again?
No! I do not want to do it again.
I think you're starting to get the picture by now. We walked really far, it was quite painful, but I also had a lot of fun. Eventually, my ankles gave up on me, and I had to swap my hiking boots for my trusty Skechers.
Stamps are a big deal on the Camino.
Overall, this was a day of exploring, stamping and connecting. And as we ambled through the beautiful Spanish countryside, I was starting to understand what the Camino was truly about for me. Making friends and sharing an incredible experience together, even if only for one more day. Our final day of walking was really bittersweet. I was delighted to finally be finished with such a prolonged endurance test, and my body desperately needed the rest. But as we walked, I found myself desperately trying to take it all in and not wanting the experience to end. You see, walking the Camino is like being in a bubble where the outside world doesn't even exist, and there's a huge solidarity and sense of community that comes with that. So, understandably, I was really sad to be leaving the bubble. But overall, I feel so lucky to have experienced this trip. I can honestly say that despite the pain, it was one of the best experiences of my entire life, and I will never forget it. So now, I leave you with those joyful final scenes of a pilgrim finally reaching Santiago.
Guess who made it to the cathedral in Santiago?
A la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón. A la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata.
Holy shit.
La 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 la, la casa del merengue. La casa de la bachata.